A very good morning, children. Today we are going to start social studies revision. We have finished all the 9 chapters, and in this video we will do a quick revision of all these 9 chapters. So let us begin with chapter 1, History and its sources. In this lesson we studied about what is history, why history is relevant or importance of history, why do we study history. We also learnt about divisions of history and the sources of history. We begin with the first question, what is history? History is the study of our past. We study history to understand our past. It is a link between the past and the present. Prehistoric period is the period about which we do not have any information in writing. Next, we move to divisions of history. Indian history is divided into 3 periods, namely ancient, medieval, and modern periods. The sources of history are mainly of 2 kinds. They are literary sources and archaeological sources. Literary sources are sacred literature or religious literature, and non-religious or secular literature. So sacred literature means related to religion, and they are related to they can be related to any religion, Hinduism, Buddhists, Jains, Christianity, Sikhism. Any literature related to these religions or any other religion is said to be sacred literature, while secular literature, they are non-religious and they include biographies, dramas, historical works, and accounts of foreign travelers. We also learnt about some examples of these 2 kinds of literature. Religious literature includes 4 Vedas, the 2 great epics Ramayana and Mahabharata, Upanishads and Puranas, and these are Hindu literature. Moving to Buddhist literature, we have Jatakas and Tripitakas. Angas and Purvas are religious literature of the Jains. In secular literature, we learnt about the accounts of foreign travelers, Indica of Megasthenes, Arthashastra written by Kautilya, and Kalidasa's Abhigyan Shakuntalam and Meghdut. These are just some of them. There are so many more, and we have learnt about these in our lesson. Next, we move to archaeological sources, which include monuments, inscriptions, and coins. Here we learnt many new words and many new concepts. Related to inscriptions, we learnt that the study of inscriptions is called epigraphy and what inscription means. Related to monuments, we came to know about our historical monuments. The study of coins is known as numismatics, and we need to preserve these archaeological sources. The National Archives of India was established in New Delhi in 1920 to preserve these historical sources, archaeological sources, literature sources, all those sources. Next, we move to chapter 2, calendars and timeline. In this, we learnt about 2 calendars, Gregorian calendar and Saka calendar. The Gregorian calendar is internationally the most popular civil calendar. Every 4th year is a leap year in Gregorian calendar when 1 extra day is added in the month of February. Saka calendar is the Hindu calendar and it is the official civil calendar used in India along with Gregorian calendar. Both these calendars have 12 months. Gregorian calendar 12 months begins with the months begin with January, end with December, while in the Hindu calendar, that is Saka calendar, it begins with Chaitra and ends with Falguna. Next, we learnt about DC and AD and BC. AD means Anno Domini and BC means before Christ. 2 more important terms we learnt, CE and BCE. CE refers to common era or current era, which is the equivalent of AD, and BCE means before current era. The Indian government started using the Saka calendar from March 22nd, 1957. So these are some facts we learned in chapter 2. In chapter 3, we started learning civics. And what is civics? Civics is the study of various aspects of citizenship, its rights and duties. We also learned about civic sense, which means duty of an individual towards society. Some examples of civic sense include some examples are standing in a queue, avoid pushing in public place, not making noise, taking care of public as well as private properties. Citizenship is the status of a person recognized under the law established by a sovereign country. Every citizen has some duties which are mainly put in three sections here. First is voting in elections, second is paying taxes, and third is awareness. And then we learnt about who is a good neighbor. In the next lesson related to civics, again we learnt about responsibilities of a good citizen. We learnt about private property and public property. Private property is the property which belongs to a person or to a family. So it can be a personal belonging or it can be a belonging of the family. Examples can be your dress, your books, your pen, your toys, or your family's car, house, furniture, TV. These are all private property. And when we move to public property, these are things that belong to the public in general. Public property includes buildings and services which we use and monuments, memorials, etc. Damage to public property causes loss to the whole nation. Their repair and maintenance is done by our money, which is charged by way of taxes. People damaging historical monuments may be punished under the Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act 1958. And as responsible citizens, it is our duty not to be involved in activities that cause a loss to national property and to stop others from doing so. We also learnt about the differences between private property and public property and the measures taken by the government. There are Public Works Department (PWD) workshops and the Archaeological Department to take care of public property. And we learnt about a very important duty which every citizen should follow, and that is participation in election. All the adults who are above the age of 18 years in India, which is a democratic country, should vote in election, should participate in elections. Now we move to chapter 5, Motions of the Earth, and this lesson comes under geography. The daily spinning movement of the earth from west to east on its own axis is termed as rotation, and the other movement which we learnt about was revolution. And the annual movement of the earth around the sun along a fixed path, which is called orbit, this motion is called revolution. The earth rotates at a speed of about 1600 km per hour at the equator, and as we move towards the pole, the speed further decreases. And it takes 24 hours to complete one rotation, while it takes 1 year, that is 365 days, to complete one revolution around the sun. Rotation causes day and night, while revolution causes change of seasons. We learnt about equinoxes and solstices. Equinoxes are days when we have equal duration of night and day. 21st March is spring equinox, while 23rd September is called autumn equinox. And we have summer solstice and winter solstice. So these are some things we learnt in chapter 5. You have to practice the drawings of these two motions very well. Now we come to the last. Chapter 7 was about major landforms. We are learning more things about the earth and about the major physical features. The surface of the earth is not even everywhere or regular. It gives rise to several landforms such as mountains, plateaus, plains, and deserts. A mountain is a high landmass with sharply sloping surfaces. A plateau is a broad and more or less level stretch of upland that rises above the neighboring lowlands. It is also known as tableland. Then we learnt about a relatively flat and low-lying vast expanse of land which is called a plain. A desert is a barren land where little rainfall occurs. We have very small areas in the desert which is fertile, and underground water comes to the surface forming pools. These areas are called oases. The next lesson was about maps, guides. There are three kinds of map: political map, physical map, and thematic map. And what is a map? A map is a drawing of the earth's surface drawn on a flat surface according to a scale. And a globe is a small model of our earth. To read a map accurately, we should understand the language of a map. Every map has colors, directions, signs, symbols, and scale. This is called the language of a map. There are four main directions: south, north, east, and west. And we also learned about four subdirections: northeast, northwest, southeast, and southwest. The scale of a map is the ratio between the map distance and the actual ground distance. Many signs or symbols are used to express information on the map. Different colors are used to show various landforms on a map. For example, water bodies will be shown in blue. Green color will show plains or lowlands. Mountains and highlands are shown in brown, while plateaus are marked in yellow. So these are some things which we learned in the lesson Maps are Guides. Next, we have come to the last chapter, chapter 9, the states of India. India is a very large country and has a population of over 120 crores. Delhi is the capital of India. It has the special status of National Capital Territory. India is governed at two levels, the central level and state level. The central government is located in New Delhi, and the state governments are located in the capitals of the states. There are 28 states and 9 union territories in India presently. So this fact you need to remember. We are modifying it, we are changing what we learned before, because what we learned before was based on an older version of the book. Last year, the state of Jammu Kashmir was divided into two union territories, Union Territory of Jammu Kashmir and Union Territory of Ladakh. So one state less, because Jammu Kashmir comes out, and two more union territories, new union territories are there. So we are going to learn the updated information, that is India has 28 states and 9 union territories. Okay. Even in the assignment which we did for chapter 9, there was question 1, how many states and union territories are there in India? All of you will correct that answer. Make 29 28 and make 7 9. This is the updated information, and you all are having the updated book. Your book is new edition and it has the updated information. Okay, so till we meet again with the next video, which is again revision, and then next week we will be doing online interactive classes. So we will be discussing these chapters. Till we meet again, take good care of yourself, keep smiling and keep learning.